going to be reflecting about my own personal online teaching journey in this video. So we're taking it way back to when I first started with vipkid. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Teaching Online with Kelsey. My name is Kelsey, and I have this channel to vlog about my life as a full-time online teacher and to help serve you as well. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell for future videos every week, and to also give this video a thumbs up. It helps support me and this channel. And if you have any questions for me, please leave a comment down below. I would be happy to assist you in the questions that you have below. For this video, I am going to be sharing about how far I've come in my personal online journey as a full-time online teacher. Because the reality of what you see on camera, what you see me in my videos, what I have established so far was not something that was made overnight. And I have been previously talking with other online teacher colleagues about their journeys and their experiences as well. And we all have come to a general understanding that this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is not something that you become an instant success overnight, and that this is something that really takes time to build up. And another reason why I was wanting to do this video that I'm doing for you now is because I had recently done some video work for ALLSCHOOL, and they had given me some guidelines on what should be presented into this video. And they wanted me to kind of have my own interpretation on some things for this particular video. And when I was looking through like their expectations on like how to make a great demo video for ALLSCHOOL, it really, something triggered in my head that essentially made me start thinking back to how far I've come and how I looked as an online teacher when I first started teaching. And I mean, not just with ALLSCHOOL, not just with being a full-time online teacher, but just like the infancy of my journey. This journey that I started almost 3 years ago at the time of this filming. And I actually started with vipkid and not really knowing like that starting with vipkid, I would actually be blossoming to ALLSCHOOL. And then not only ALLSCHOOL, but then ALLSCHOOL is now a part of my journey. And now TPT and YouTube and so many ventures that I just never expected would turn from this.
Would you believe it that I had thought about doing YouTube videos for like vipkid? Like after watching other vipkid videos on YouTube, that I had thought of trying to like reinvent the wheel, essentially.
But no, it's fine. Like so many different teachers on YouTube can offer many different types of advice that can be extremely helpful. So it's not just my words that I say in my videos, but other teachers have also created a lot of resources and give out advice that can help you along your journey too. And maybe while you were watching this video, maybe right now you are currently an in-person classroom teacher, or maybe you had just left your in-person teaching job, because at the time of this filming also, there's a lot of crazy things happening in terms of education, specifically public education, and a lot of these bills that are being passed. And I'm not going to go into great detail about these bills and like which each state are going to do what bills, because that's not what this video is about. But just realizing and understanding that a lot of these bills are pushing a lot of teachers to leave the profession, and to really decide whether they actually do enjoy teaching or if they want to just do something else completely. And so if you are one of those teachers and you are thinking, okay, I love teaching, but I don't know how I can continue teaching if I'm not in the classroom. And so maybe you have ventured out to looking into doing online teaching. And if that is the case, while you are watching this video, then welcome. And another thing is that it is a journey. And as long as you're willing to dive in and indulge in that journey, then you're going to see your own growth and you're going to see how far you can go along in this journey. As I'm reflecting in this video, I am realizing that a lot of the expectations for online teachers is very different compared to what the expectations were 3 years ago when I was trying out vipkid. And it was funny because, like, you know, one of the expectations for your dedicated teaching space is that you have to have a clean, well-lit, kid-friendly background. And while there is some truth to having a clean background and even displaying like a little bit about your personality in the classroom, it also triggered something in me. And like when I was first applying for vipkid, how the expectations for a teaching background was, it just felt really busy. And I will show you the picture of my very first teaching background, and it was with vipkid. So you're gonna see all those you're gonna see you're gonna see Dino, you're gonna see all the original vipkid characters, you're gonna see all the frogs as rewards and props and whiteboards, and like, it just feels so busy. It just feels, coming from a Montessori background where lots of Montessori environments are considered clean, and if there is stuff on the walls, it's not the alphabet, it's not any sort of colors or printouts. Like, at most you would see like pictures, and even then those pictures would be like of Maria Montessori, or it would be a picture of a flower or plant, so something that would be considered realistic. So to go from a very peaceful environment to then suddenly creating a background that just felt really busy, that had always bothered me from the get-go. But because I wanted to try vipkid out, I wanted to see what they had to offer, I followed the rules. I said, okay, I guess I'm gonna have an alphabet. I guess I'm going to have Dino on my board and have my name and have this and that and this and that, just to follow the rules. But there was always a part of me deep down that just never liked the concept of having a super busy teaching background where there's props here and that there's colors there and that there's an alphabet all over. However, though, I do like the concepts of maps. So I made this map personally. I did not follow Nancy Taylor's suit and buy one of her beautiful maps. And I mean, and it's no hate against her by any means. And I think her maps are really, really beautiful. It actually just sort of happened spontaneously that I would end up making something like this as part of my teaching background, which is a representation of the Montessori World puzzle map. I did it for a flex class. And so I was like, oh, you know, that's actually a pretty nice map of the world. So why not put it on my teaching background? So there are those few exceptions when it comes to what you would want to teach, like in terms of your background. But I'm also trying to show to you that what you see behind me in all my videos or in any of my live classes on ALLSCHOOL is that all of this did not happen overnight. Not like your online teaching journey to get to where you're fully booked, to where you just teach all the time, or that you do YouTube videos, or that you have TPT products that sell out constantly. That just does not happen overnight. And even a year ago when I decided I was going to be a full-time online teacher, you are planting seeds, and when you plant a seed, it's going to take time to grow. And you know, sometimes you may be creating a one-time class and it's a big success. That's also great. You know, just know that if you're doing many things as an online teacher, that a lot of that does not just happen overnight. Obviously, going from a VIP kid background to this takes time. And just know that if you are having to make just a simple background now, or your wall is just white with maybe a plant on it in your background, in my opinion, as long as you are well lit, then I consider that to be great. You don't have to go all full out shiplap and have your credential and your map that you've created on your own and pictures and plans. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do what I do. You can keep it pretty simple. And the beauty of online teaching now is like your background doesn't have to be too busy. It doesn't have to be elaborate. That's okay. Clean backgrounds are okay. So, but there is a point that it has to be well lit. So I definitely recommend getting a nice ring light. All right, that stands true in terms of lighting. Get yourself a good ring light. Do not be like me when I first started with VIP Kid and think that a lamp from Walmart will suffice. Don't do it. No. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay? Just invest in the ring light. You will thank me later. Another thing that I have noticed in the expectations that I had read about the ALLSCHOOL demo is how they're saying to dress professionally. Now, that's not to say that you're not allowed to wear your PJs. However, like maybe just your PJ bottoms. And you know, it was so funny because when I had first applied for VIP Kid, they strongly recommended wearing an orange shirt, an orange t-shirt, or if you had a shirt that exclusively said VIP Kid on it, whether it was like your name, or if there was the VIP Kid logo on the side, or if you were able to stay with the company for 3 years, you got the coveted VIP Kid orange hoodie. So sacred, you know, like, but if you teach on platforms like ALLSCHOOL and ALLSCHOOL, you know, the expectation is you don't have to wear a particular type of shirt. You don't necessarily have to dress a certain way. The best advice that I can give you is like, just make sure you cover, you know, on your top end, just make sure you cover the bits and pieces that only your mother and your significant other has seen. Yes, I just said that on camera. but it's true. Just be modest and just make sure that your t-shirt doesn't have any obscene language or obscene hands or feet or whatever. Like, I feel like I feel like I shouldn't have to say that, but I'm saying it because, you know, you just never know who needs to hear it. And I can already tell you now, there have been many times that I have taught ALLSCHOOL classes in a straight up hoodie. And I can guarantee you that none of those kids cared if I had a hoodie on in class. They never criticized and go,
"Oh, why does it have your church's name on there? How rude of you to do that."
No, kids don't care. As long as they don't see what only your mother has seen, then you're good. Okay? Another thing I've noticed, and this is not necessarily like in the expectations for like the demo video, but it's also just something I've been reflecting on personally, is just flexibility in your teaching schedule. And so if the reason maybe you are staying with maybe the global platform of vipkid, or if you are still doing Magic Ears or some other ESL online teaching program that's still available, that are not completely affected by the China regulations, maybe those hours work better for you. Maybe you get up and teach just a couple of classes on that platform in the morning, and then you go into your full-time job. Or maybe you do exclusively work on ALLSCHOOL because that's where you can have a close to simulation 9 to 5 work life. Or maybe you only teach on ALLSCHOOL for 2-3 times a week, so then you can be with your family, or for your other job that you work on, or if you dedicate time to do videos, or teachers pay teachers, or another Etsy shop, whatever the situation is. When I had first started with vipkid, you were only restricted to really early hours in the morning, or late at night, or sometimes overnight. And I hate to admit it, but when I had first started out with vipkid, I was in between my in-person teaching job and then a job that I would go into for only a little over a year. It was not related to teaching. It was just something to keep me and my husband afloat, essentially, especially during the panini. So I was in between that, so I was able to get up at 1:30 in the morning to teach a 2 a.m. class, and then take a quick nap, and then wake up and teach a class at 5 and then 7. And it seriously messed up my sleeping schedule. And the only reason I woke up so early was because of all these recommendations from other YouTubers saying, hey, sometimes you just have to teach at 2 a.m. in the morning. That's how you get fully booked with vipkid. And I realize, teaching with ALLSCHOOL and ALLSCHOOL, that you do not have to do that. Sure, as I'm filming this, ALLSCHOOL is still building, so there's still a lot of children overseas that you can teach. However, I realized that I could no longer do the 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. I was not going to commit myself to that anymore. If I have set hours that's built around the life that I want to build personally, then that's what I'm going to stick with, and that's what's going to work for me. So that's one thing, is that if you want flexibility to be with your kids, or if you want flexibility to focus on an Etsy shop, or if you want flexibility of teaching in the morning and then going to your full-time job after that, that's how you want to make it. And that decision is going to have to be up to you on that. So just remember, even though you may not be where I am now on my journey, that doesn't mean that you won't get there yourself. And just realize that what you're trying to build with your business is going to take time, and it's not something that's going to happen overnight. And if you're still trying to figure out online teaching and what works, that's okay too. Believe me, there had been many lessons and classes that I've created for ALLSCHOOL that I thought, yeah, this is going to be a big hit, only for it to be a really big flop. And it happens. That doesn't mean that you're not going to make it. It just means, okay, that didn't work. I'm going to try something else instead. And that also goes with a class that's successful, but if you try to change it up a little bit and it just did not go as planned, now you know what to do for next time. That's also not a failure. It's just a learning opportunity. And believe me, I've done it myself. Many of the questions, many of the concerns, many of your struggles and your and things that you're just like, I don't know if I can do this. Is this really for me? Like, all of us online teachers, we have been there. Even for us that make videos to help you, we have been there before. We get it. So we understand that struggle. And if you're trying to get into it for the long haul, like if you go through it, it's okay. It's okay to go through it. Of course, we can always create videos that say, hey, avoid these things. And sometimes the inevitable happens and you run into it and you're like, oh shoot, I can't believe I just did that. So out of all of these tips that I shared with you, number one, don't worry too much about your background, unless you really do want to kind of style it up, and just realize if you do something like that, it's not going to happen overnight. It takes time, okay? Number two, you do not have to wear a fancy suit or a fancy dress. Just make sure the right things are covered and that you're not wearing anything distasteful. And number three, just make your schedule. Make the schedule that you want, okay? Don't try to get out of your comfort zone just to get more enrollments. You build the schedule that you want for your life. All right? If you do have any more questions for me, please leave a comment down below. I'd love to have a discussion with you and share some helpful tips. And if you are currently an online teacher and you have some other advice you want to share, leave that down in the comments too. And of course, if you made it to the end of this video, I am an ALLSCHOOL teacher and also an all-school teacher. So I do have a pros and cons video of both. So ultimately, that's your decision on which platform you would like to choose. But either way, whichever platform you decide, if you decide I'm going to go the online teaching route, that link is going to be down below for ALLSCHOOL and for ALLSCHOOL to apply for either one of those programs. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.